Okay, perfect. Yeah. So good afternoon and very welcome to our monthly webinar. This is under this banner called Leadership Chaska. So Chaska in Hindi means addiction, and here this Chaska means crossover hosted association for knowledge and skills advancement. So this is not really like a very formal association that you have registered, but we have been running this webinars under this banner for quite some time, which essentially means that for next 1 month you will get a chance to work with our mentors. And Pushpa is one of our very senior mentors right in the call here today, and uh, Karthik is there, so you can actually take their help to uh, ask any questions, apply that. And we, as an organization, has always been in the mode of saying that we will not do one-off program in general, which means that any program that we do will essentially run for a certain period. Transformation cannot happen overnight. It takes a big amount of practice. Yeah. So if you look at this slide here, you will see that. And today's topic is the 10th hour. And when we are saying 10th hour is essentially the 1 hour that we want you to get extra. Uh, every day when you work. So you typically work for 9 hours, and I know IT is 9 is not enough, but assuming that typical hours is 9 hours, so how can you get that extra 1 hour? So that's the idea behind that. Yeah. And a very brief about crossover leadership journeys. So if you look at this slide, it tells you that there are two axes to this slide. One is the success level of an organization, and other is the journey of an organization. So if you look at uh, every organization hires people from all over the world or the country, and obviously people have different mental models. So Manoj may have a different mental model compared to Karthik coming from Bangalore, and obviously there is an hybrid culture that gets created, and there is a result that we get in an organization. Crossover intervention helps you to look at how people think, look at the way they respond and their mental model, and look at immunities to change and try to align the mental model, which essentially creates an aligned culture, and that gives you a much more higher goal oriented result than what you would otherwise if you don't do the intervention. So that's the thinking behind why crossover should be given an opportunity to work. And the way we do it is that there is a very structured framework that we approach with. Yeah. So you can divide any organization broadly into four parts. So you've got the senior leadership, mid-level, associate, and the campus hires. So for each of these levels, we have got a different set of intervention. And if you can imagine, if all the levels get connected, it can create so much of productivity in the organization. And we look at four facets of leadership. So self-leadership is the leader's ability to manage. And when I say leader, is everybody in the hierarchy. We feel that everybody is a leader. And how does he manage his emotion? How does he communicate? Team leadership, how does he delegate? How does he inspire the team? Operational is understanding of margin, balance sheet, profit and loss. And last is about his organization leadership, is his ability to manage change, his ability to collaborate. And the leader then comes out with a very holistic approach. And the way we do it is that every month there is a workshop, and then between the month we have the mentoring team working with the participant to apply the learning in real life. So they send an article, they send a video, they ask them to submit the application of learning. We invite leaders to come and talk to the participant. We They come for the next month, and this journey can be a 6 month journey, 12 month journey, 18 month journey, depending on how deep the company wants to go. Now, there are a lot of companies who really don't have enough, people in the organization to really run an internal batch. And what we have started to do for quite some time is that we launched this Emerging Leaders program as an open program. It's a very powerful program. You can imagine that in the pandemic, we have already run 6 batches, and we're getting ready to launch our seventh batch. So you can see how, and this deck will also come to you, so you can take a look, or you can note down Pooja's number. So Pooja Adhikari is also on the call here. She can help you with walking you through the details of every module that is there, and it very systematically builds the leadership with emotion intelligence, contextual leadership, humble inquiry, multiplier mindset, influencing and negotiation and teamwork. So it's a very nice topics that very holistically develops people. And Pooja can guide you. And we typically get 4 people, 5 people from 5 or 6 organization, and we form a batch to run this program. So you can note down her number and the email ID, and you can maybe connect with her if you like to either join yourself, or if you like to nominate people from your organization. Today's topic is from this module called Multiplier Mindset, and the webinar name is 10th Hour Unleashing Productivity. So I'll walk you through this module. So let me begin with the first small exercise for all of you. So if you look at this slide, it talks about intention, state, and action. Yeah. So intention is about our goals, or about our ambition, or what we want to achieve in life. And state is, how do I show up at work or at home when I get up every day? So when I'm in my waking hours, what is my state of achieving that goal? And the action is, do I take action aligned to the state and intention? And let me give you an example. So if you look at a very common intention that a lot of people have in the beginning of the year is to reduce weight. Yeah. And so I decide that, I want to reduce weight from 84 to at least 72. So that is my intention. And I start dieting, I start, jogging, whatever. Yeah. And Karthik, who is from my team, has recently moved to Mangalore. And Karthik invites me to his engagement ceremony, and he hosted this function in Sheraton Hotel. And I see this entire spread of nice Mangalorean delicacies right there. And I say, ठीक है यार, परहेज तो घर पे कर लेंगे today, let me have this dessert. So my state changes, and I take an action of eating the dessert. So now my question to all of you is that, which one would you rate high in order of importance? So if you can just take a notepad or whatever you have, which one would you rate high, medium, or low in terms of its importance? You can first note down on the notepad, and then you can also put it in the chat box. So you can chat like this, H, so intention is intention dash, whether you would want to put high, medium, or low, and then intention high, medium, or low, and action high, medium, or low. So I can say Padma saying that action should be high. Okay. Chandrasekhar also saying action should be high. Okay. Okay. But Harshavardhan is saying intention should be high. Okay. Supreet saying that all should be high. Okay. PC saying that intention should be high. So, and Kamal is saying state should be high. And Ajit is saying, okay, intention can be medium and state can be medium. Okay. So a very quick, I just want to unshare and then ask people who said that, action should be high. Why do you say so? And the people who are saying intention should be high, why do you say so? We can have a very quick, discussion on why do you say so. And I see that some people also have said state should be high. So you guys can unmute yourself and share your thoughts. And I know Padma is usually our opening batsman. So Padma, if you can share, why do you think action should be high? And the people who are saying, so Karthik, you can look at, who said intention should be high. So pick one or two name and you can call out for them to share with Padma why do they think otherwise. Padma?
So with Sachin's opening partner being available in the room, I mean, I feel little nervous to open this
Please.
particular innings, but still, since you gave me the opportunity, let me go ahead. I think ultimately what gives results is the action. We may have a lot of intention, we may always be in a good state of mind, etc. But till we take the action, the results won't follow. So if you want results, action has got to have the highest priority. That's my logic.
Okay. But those who said, intention should be high, what is your counter argument to Padma?
Hi Yogesh, as much as I do concur with what Padma is saying, and actions are really important, right, at the end of the day. But in terms of, and I meant it only from one specific perspective, in terms of assessing the morality of a situation, maybe intentions sort of become really important, because when you add the element of luck, actions may still go either way, right? That's the only perspective I had.
So, but the action that I was taking, Harsh and Padma, would not actually, get me, to the intention that I had started with, isn't it?
Yes, it won't.
Yeah. So this was just a small warm-up exercise, and I don't want to. I think Supreet is a champion here. She has actually also given good answer. But what I want to right now do for all of you is that just hold on this answer in your mind in the background, in your notepad, and I want you all to just do an audit for yourself. Where would you place yourself on? Like, so it says who knows not that he knows not is a fool. Leave him. He who knows not and knows that he knows not is a child, so one can teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows is a reposer, so one needs to wake him up. And he knows and knows that he knows is a wise person. So, where would you rate yourself on this? Would you rate yourself on wise or reposer or child? You can, if you like, you can also share it in the chat or unmute and share. Where would you rate yourself? Okay. Amit, Ajit says child, okay. But Ajit, when you look at sales coaching, you are a wise person. No? You're like such an expert on sales coaching. So, or if you look at Franklin Covey's entire suite of offering, you are the internationally certified champion. So there you're wise, no? Yeah.
We are continuous learners. It's never a question of being wise.
Okay.
Even if you know that you know stuff, you always learn something new in every program. So
very nice, super. So assuming Ajit, that I think that all of I can see some more answer coming. So okay, Srinatha saying that okay, child, okay. So Srinatha, Kamil also says child, okay, very nice, yeah. So no problem. I think assuming that I want you all to be like a wise person, you guys are all champions. You come for this program, and assuming that you're all wise person. So there was also a wise person, and he was an author. So this wise person used to write books and get paid for $2 million for every book. So one day publisher came and said to this author that how much time do you typically take to write a book? The author said that I take 2 months to write a book generally, or maximum 4 months. Yeah. So then the publisher said that we're going to give you 8 months to write a book, and we'll pay you 4 million, double than what you get usually paid. Now the author got absolutely excited. He said that I'm getting double the time and double the money. What is the big deal? I should sign the contract. But the publisher said there is one condition, that if you don't complete the book in 8 months, you will have to pay us uh, $8 million, instead of $4 million. Are you okay with that? So the author says that, yeah, I easily write in less than 4 months, and you give me 8 months, so I should be, no problem. He signs the contract. This is in the month of January, and and this guy is a celebrity author, so every day he goes for some or the other engagement, is going and trying to do inauguration and all this kind of things, and it is already June, and he has not written a single page of the book. And then he realizes that if I don't write, I will have to pay 8 million. So what he does is that he packs all his clothes, all the formal clothes, his shoes, everything in a bag, including his shoes. Only keeps the pajama and home clothes with him, and sends the entire bag to his mother, and tells her mother that, please don't send me the bag until 1st of November, and or 1st of, I think, 1st of September, because 8 months is getting over on 1st of September. Now, when he does that, he's not able to really go out anywhere, and he's able to complete his book. So if you look at this concept of acrasia and incrasia, so acrasia is what the author got into, so failing to do what you know you're supposed to do, and doing what you know you're not supposed to do. So the author did know that I'm not supposed to go to those celebrity events when I'm supposed to write the book. But the temptation of those events, the temptation of going and doing something was so high that he was falling in acrasia again and again. And what he did by sending the clothes to his mother was opposite of acrasia, called incrasia. So you can see on the slide here, called incrasia. Now what I want you all to do is take 5 minutes and write down your acrasias. What are your acrasias? And today evening, share your acrasias with your family members, who can help build your incrasia with the penalty if you fall into your acrasia. So, when I was doing this program for one of a IT company, and one of the participant had this acrasia of very regularly smoking. So if you want to write a proposal or anything, he would always go for a smoke. And he said that since there was no partner for him, he was living alone in Hyderabad. He said that, can I have an incretia with you? And I said, yes, no problem. But my incretia would be that every time you smoke, you will have to. So I told him that next day morning you bring 4 checks of 1 lakh rupees each in my name. And every time you smoke, I will encash one check of 1 lakh. And he initially thought that I am just trying to be jovial about this, but I was very serious. And he seriously bought the checks and gave me the checks. And for next 4 months, every time he had this urge of acrasia, he would call me and he said, there's a big proposal happening. Can you just allow me to do one smoke? And I would say, no problem. Go and smoke. I will encash that 1 lakh check. And literally, he actually did not smoke. And then he actually got out of his acrasia. But what I want to share with you is that your acrasia should be so powerful that it should not let you get into your acrasia. So I'll take a pause here, and I can also clarify any doubts, any questions you may have on this before you write your acrasias. So any doubt on acrasia or incrasia? And if you want to think about your incrasia also, no problem. You can share with the group so others can also get inspired by your increase. Yes, Pankaj, I can see. So the acrasia is not the diversion that we set for ourselves. Incretia is the diversion that we set for ourselves. Acrasia is that we get tempted into getting into something that we are not supposed to do. Okay, so I can see Ranjani saying that sometimes I have starting trouble, but how do I overcome? Yes, so we will get that, Ranjani, as we go forward. You can see that, yeah. Very nice. So in fact, Ranjani, what you can do is you can do an incretia with either Puja Adhikari or Puja Jain, so that whenever you have the starting trouble, you pay 50,000 rupees. I'm reducing the amount to Puja Adhikari and Puja Jain. If that is your accretion. And if you feel that 50,000 is a very less amount, please increase it to whatever amount you want, because Puja Jain and Puja Adhikari has no problem in no cap on receiving what you want to share with them. And now I'm getting an idea of putting a new line of revenue stream for crossover actually. Yeah. So good. So and when we look at productivity, these are all founding elements for productivity. When you look at productivity, it is not like something that you just achieve like a knowledge or an overnight thing. It's a systematic effort to become like this, so you become productivity. So and this is just a 90 minutes webinar, but we when we do our actual session for the entire day, we systematically actually spend enough time to pick up the akrishas, define your incretias as we go along in the journey. Yeah. So take time and do that. And what I'm going to do is that I want to ask this question. So I'm going to do a very small, breakout room exercise for just about 7 minutes. Yeah. And I want you all to have a very quick discussion, in your rooms, that what do you mean by activity and result, and what do you mean by efficiency and effectiveness. So I just want you all to go inside the room. So I'm going to now create the room. Just these two questions, just 6 minutes, and at the 7th minute you will get a pop-up saying that you need to come out of the room. So I will create. I think we are close to 30 people. So I'll create 6 rooms. So you will have 5 people in each room. So discuss these two questions. What is the difference between between efficiency and activity, efficiency and effectiveness, and activity and results? Yeah. So 2 questions. If you have taken a screenshot, no problem. Even write in a notepad difference between activity and results, and efficiency and effectiveness. Yeah. And have one person from your room coming back and speaking. So we'll not have all the rooms talk about it. Maybe 1 or 2 rooms we can have talks. So I'm creating the room and having 5 people in every room, and you are getting just about 6 minutes to discuss. And when you get the pop-up, you can come back and come and join the main room. Yeah. So you will see a pop-up coming on your screen now to go inside the room. Yeah. Everybody, welcome back.
Yeah, yes, we are back, I think.
Okay, yes, Satya, welcome. And whenever people come back from breakout room, they look to be more happier than when they were in the main room, actually. कुछ तो breakout room में गड़बड़ होता है लगता है. So, I think people enjoy talking to each other than coming for the main session. So good. So we can have like 2 or 3 rooms, or maybe 2 rooms, talking about what did the discussion happen in the room. What is the difference between activity and results, and efficiency and effectiveness?
I think in room 3, we have Ajit, Murli, myself, and two other Shashi, and another gentleman. I'm sorry, I could not able to pick up the names, but I think we discussed that. I think as per our room, the efficiency is doing the right thing, doing the right thing, and whereas effectiveness is doing the right work. Right manner and right work. Sorry, the right thing, efficiency is right manner, and whereas effectiveness is doing the right thing.
Right. Okay.
And then between activity and results, I think somebody else has to pitch in.
Yes. So Milind was also there in your room, I think.
Yeah, Milind was also there. Milind?
No, I mean, Milind can say, or Mukesh, whoever, but I think I just saw Milind was also there in the room. So, or maybe any other room can also talk about.
Yogesh, so
Yeah.
interesting in group 1 about activity and result.
Yes.
Right. So Kamal was saying activity is probably being busy, but maybe not focused.
Yeah.
And result is a little more being busy, but then is it producing results?
Yes.
So something like
So effectively, we were discussing that action is activity is more action, and result is more outcome.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So that's what we were discussing here, room 1.
Yes. So everybody, I think when we discuss this, I think we all, possibly are getting an idea. But just to drive this point, very, very nicely, there was this, ashram where I think this, this head of the ashram wanted to, go to an international spiritual convention. So he said that, I want to identify who will be the person who will actually, manage the ashram when I'm gone. So he looks at the appraisal record of last 2 years and finds out 2, people who are like high performers, and he says that I'll give one assignment to both of them and check who does well, and then pick up that guy for the managing the ashram. So the first guy is told that, I'll be gone for 8 weeks and you have to manage the ashram. So what would you do? So this disciple goes and, goes to the kitchen, finds out how much food is required, gets the food and stocks it inside, and comes back in 15 minutes to the sage and says that, I have made all the arrangements and you can go, no problem. The sage is super impressed that, how this guy has finished this in 15 minutes and I'm all set to go. So he makes his mind that I'll give this guy, the chance to manage the ashram. And but as per process, he said I should even give the chance to the second guy. So he tells the second disciple that I'll be gone for 8 weeks and you have to manage the ashram. What would you do? So the disciple goes and he doesn't come back for 30 minutes. And the sage is like really worried that where is this guy? And it's 30 minutes he's not here. And at the 45th minute he comes back. So the sage said, what did you do? So he said that I first, went to the kitchen and asked him that, how much is our daily consumption of food, rice and dal and all that. Then I went to the HR and asked them, that, how many people are going to go on leave in next 8 weeks. And then I multiplied that if there are going to be people on leave, then we don't need so much of food. So I reduced that and I picked up the net quantity. Then I went to the, Kirana shop and told him that usually we buy every week, but since our head is going to be away, this time I'm going to buy for 8 weeks. So can I get some bulk discount? So the Kirana said, oh, I can give you wholesale rate because you are buying it such a big quantity. And I told them that I have still not taken the approval of our head. So give me 2 hours, and if I don't come back to you, you assume that the approval is done and you can deliver that to the kitchen. Now, if you were the sage, who are you going to choose and why?
I think the second guy who is so meticulous, so planful, so result oriented. I'm sure. I think there might be a second guy who did the chosen one.
Yes. So Satya, if you look at what you discussed in the room, it is good to be efficient, but I think from time to time you have to also look at your effectiveness.
Exactly.
So, so when we are working in our, when you look at productivity as a angle of today's subject in today's webinar, many times we get stuck with only efficiency. We keep doing the same thing again and again without looking at whether it is effective. And in a larger organization, I think, can we look at different departments and see that, and there are scores of companies who are no longer existing because they were very efficient, but they were not effective. So manufacture a car very efficiently, you can beat the number on efficiency with number of cars, but if consumers are not buying the car, then you're not effective. So do you want to connect with the marketing team, you connect with the sales team and really understand that what does the customer want? Now, these are all, pillars of you becoming really productive in any aspect of the industry that you're working in. So if we don't do that, then essentially we lose the track. So it is good. So the car manufacturer has to be efficient, but at periodic time, you have to start looking whether I'm effective. Now, through this webinar, and as I was saying in the beginning, that all our crossover programs are very, very practical and very, very driven to can apply. So now you should put a reminder for yourself that whatever I'm doing, whether I'm a trainer, I'm a facilitator, I might be running the program, efficiently, exactly in 90 minutes. But is that effective? What what is the feedback that I'm getting? Is the people applying that in real life? You're manufacturing a product, look at whether I'm effective. So a combination of efficiency and effectiveness has to be there. And in fact, and I'm telling you lots of stories in the journey because that will help you to go back and reflect, in your own role, what are you doing and are you the second disciple or are you the first disciple? If you're a sage, if you're a head of a department, what are you looking at? Are you honoring people only on efficiency or are you looking at effectiveness? So these stories will help you. And many a times in the organization, we do a lot of things that essentially are not adding any value to ourselves, our roles. And here is a very interesting experiment that I want to share with you. So, there was this 223 goalkeepers who are like international class, and they actually know when there is a ball coming on the goal post, whether the ball is going to go out of the goal post. Yeah, they know that looking at the ball's direction when somebody is hitting the ball on the goal. Now they clearly know with their experience that the ball is going to go outside the goal post, but they still jump. So the researchers asked these goalkeepers that, why do you jump when you really know that the ball is going to go outside the goalpost? So they say that the entire stadium is watching us. If I don't jump, people might think that what am I doing here? So when you are in corporate, many times, or maybe not in corporate or any other profession, we are sending a weekly report every week without really knowing that and watching that is people really finding value in the report. I am doing a mail campaign every week without realizing, am I getting enough nominations? Am I getting enough meetings? I am creating a content every week. Am I getting the right result from the content? So anything that you're doing, you have to make sure that is it aligning to the effectiveness part, or am I just doing just for the sake that there is a tradition, there is a way that we are doing. So take some time after the webinar and reflect, what are those activities which you are not adding any value to help you to get the 10th hour, because the 10th hour is not going to come just without our reflecting on what are those areas, because we want to find that productivity from things that we are only doing. So if you do that, then you start getting the 10th hour. So take some time after the webinar today afternoon and list down activities that are not adding value. And I'm going to introduce you to the 3x5 framework, and you will see one more opportunity for you to see whether those hours are, those activities are really adding value to you or not. Yeah. So what will finally help you in unleashing the productivity, and I think we should give 100 marks to Suprit, because she had actually said that all the three are important. Knowing what results are important, which is the intention, focusing on our state, and taking actions to achieve them. Now, if you can maybe take a screenshot of this particular definition and just put it in a place where you can always refer to it. So first thing is identifying what are the results that we are going after. Then when you are in the state, whenever you are in the waking hours, when you are in office or when you are at work, or your work from home, doesn't matter. What is your state? Is my state constantly reminding me about my intention? And am I taking action that is aligned to my intention? So if I can focus on these three things, I can actually become and unleash my productivity. I'll take a pause here and have anybody just reflect on this definition, or share with me what do you guys think about whatever we have done so far.
Yogesh, I have some little bit of more inputs required about inertia. I think you have made that. I got that inertia thing.
Yes.
Failing to do what you know you are supposed to do, and
Yes.
I cannot get it, that inertia thing. Can you give some more examples and the definitions also?
Yes. So inertia is the penalty that you put when you are getting into inertia. So for example, if Satya has this inertia of submitting a proposal without doing a review, or passing a bill without doing a due diligence, or getting into Facebook for maybe more than 2 hours when you're supposed to, when you've decided that I will not spend more than 30 minutes on Facebook every day. So inertia is the temptation, or you're watching TV endlessly for 3 hours, where you think that I think I should watch only for 30 minutes and rest I should maybe spend time with my family or do something else. So anything that you are getting tempted to is inertia, and the penalty. So next time if you go beyond 30 minutes on watching TV, if you like to put an inertia of giving 1 lakh check to me, no problem. You can courier it to our crossover address in Hyderabad, and we can, every time you watch more than 30 minutes, I will encash the check. So inertia is the penalty that you're putting on yourself when you get into inertia.
And my second question is that, as you told that effectiveness is more important or more critical than efficiency. How do you measure? Are you going to cover that also? How do you measure effectiveness, or what are the ways of measuring effectiveness and efficiency? Is there something which you are going to take us through?
Yeah, so that, Satya, our thinking is that there is a very contextual to your role, and the same effectiveness is never permanent, which means something that is effective today may not be the same parameter tomorrow. So the best source of your effectiveness measurement is from your customers or from your stakeholders. Ask them regularly. Like at Crossover, we do, Pooja Adhikari does an annual and a biannual customer satisfaction survey. To know, she does an employee satisfaction survey. To know, I might be having a very efficient policy, but these people finding that valuable, these people enjoying the policy. That you know only when you do the survey, which is anonymous, or some mechanism for people to share with you.
Okay.
Yeah, but it will change, because the same effectiveness, something like at one point, I think ambassador call was very effective. Every IAS officer was using IAS ambassador, and if it came in your colony, you were like, super thrilled to see the car and sit in the car. But then customer preferences changed. People didn't wanted a car which is giving so low mileage. We wanted bucket seats. We wanted so many other features. So then slowly the effectiveness changed.
Yeah, understood. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
So and I know we are doing quite a bit of stuff in 90 minutes, but when you come for that 1 day program, we spend enough time on going through every participant's function and have a debate around. So broadly, we define that effectiveness in the class, at least for that particular period. But what more importantly we want to get you is that the ability for you to get into this habit. So today, when you learn this concepts, you will go back and it doesn't matter. Like I have been using this for so many years, so it doesn't matter. You can pick up the concept and go back. So like this particular definition, maybe once in 2 weeks, I think all of us should read that. Is my intention even correct? Right now to my current environment, is I am having the proper state connected to the intention, and am I taking the right action? Like in this first example of Mangalore, if I want to lose my weight, my state should be that whenever I am in the Sheraton hotel, I am not letting myself get into that state and don't take action that will impact my intention. So Supreet gave the right answer that all the three has to be high. It can't be that you have any of these three becoming low. And what we will do now is that I'm going to introduce you to this very interesting 3x5 framework for unleashing productivity. And I'm also going to recommend, like every webinar when we do, I always recommend at least 1 or 2 books for my participants to go back and read. And pdfdrive.com is a very nice website now to get you some free books in PDF format. If you like, you can use that. So if you look at 3x5 is there are 3 dimensions, and then there are 5 bullets in each of these frameworks. So this is 3x5. So 3 dimensions and 5 bullets in each of them. So I'm very going to quickly connect, go take you through the 5 myths that we generally, we have, and we're going to look at those myths, and you will see how they play out in our daily life. Then I'm going to talk about 5 permissions and 5 choices, using a concept called focus funnel. And then I'm going to talk about 5 lifestyles and habits. So I'm going to do little rapid fire now because quite a bit to cover. So please feel free to stop me, any questions you have in between. So the 5 myths will go one by one. Is first is time can be managed, which is like, so when I hear people saying that, can we do a time management training? And I tell them that you can never manage time. Time will always be moving, whether you are a chief minister of Maharashtra or chief minister of Telangana, doesn't matter. The time will never stop. It will continue to move. So you can never manage time. That's a myth. Second is efficiency as the highest pursuit. So a lot of people, even today, don't look at effectiveness along with efficiency. They only look at efficiency. And in some of the other programs, we'll talk about why that happens is because our mind likes certainty. Our mind likes something that is certain, and efficiency is a certainty, meaning that if I do these 4 things, I think I can do it because you have learned this over a period of time. But if you just do efficiency and not effectiveness, I think the myth is that you will not be able to get to the highest pursuit. Many times in our life, we think that multitasking is good, but there are enough and more experiment. And you all should read this book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And Karthik, if you can just put it in the chat so people can make a note of it, and you will start seeing the experiment. And I can tell you that you can try this experiment today in the evening. Take a piece of paper and write down A, B, C, D, E, F, G up to the last alphabet. Write down the months January, February to December, and write down the numbers from 1 to 26. Okay, and time it yourself for about 5 minutes, and keep doing this again and again. Meaning, write down the alphabet, write down the month, and write down the numbers from 1 to 26. See how many times you have written this multiple times. Yeah. Do the same exercise again, time it for another 5 minutes, but this time the difference is that you will write in the alphabet A, C, E, G, meaning you are missing out one alphabet and writing that, and again come back after Z to B, D, like that. So you are basically first writing A, C, E, and then A, then B, D, similar fashion. Similarly, when you write months, you write January, March, May, and the next round after finishing from December, come back to February, April, like that, and then do the same for numbers. And then you see how many times were you able to do when you did in sequence versus how many times when you did multitasking. Now, this is a very small exercise to convince you that multitasking is actually not good. It takes more longer time to get things done, and Cal Newport's book can also help you do that. Equal balance at all times. So when you look at productivity, you can never be, equal in everything in your life. Like you can't get in your career fully and also, satisfy your family. It is not possible. You can't ignore your career and be financially well off. Not possible. You can't be very good in your, career and have health also. It will not possible. So what this means is that, and when you come for our main program, what we drive out of this is that you can actually pick up one area of your life and then start, fixing that area of that life, and then move to something else. What we generally make a mistake is that we try to do everything at the same time. So if you're trying to also fulfill your career commitment and also family, it won't work. Because on the day of your anniversary is the day when you have to submit a $2 million proposal. What will you do? If you come for the family, then your proposal gets impacted. If you do proposal family. So the point is, can I pick up one area which is not fully done and work on that and move? And then we'll talk about that in detail when you come for the main program. And then the last is, many times we feel that if you're busy all the time, your productivity, there's a last myth. Yeah. So to address this, one of the things that I am going to introduce you, which is about, the categorization and choices and permission. So now many of us essentially do, this to-do list concept, which means that we have a list of things to be done and we, do one by one. So at some point what happens is that the item on the 12th never comes up because you're always stuck with the first few items. So for example, if I were to, report to Padma, who is also on the Nano for Padma many years, and I were to also report to Satya Mohanty, and these are two my managers. And if I put my to-do list, then I start putting 2 items for Padma and 2 items for Satya Mohanty. So item number 1 is for Padma, 2 is for Padma, 3 is for Satya, again 4 is for Padma, 6 is for Satya. So I go to Padma and then tick off item number 1 and 2. Then I go to Satya or call Satya for item number 3. Then again I call Padma for item number 4. So I'm like shuffling between Padma and Satya. Now every time I call Padma and Padma is moving his attention to me and is going back to what he was doing, there is something called as an attention residue, which means that his mind has to go back to what he was doing, and that is a loss forever, which means that you can't recover that loss. Now, if I go to Satya again for 3 times there is an attention residue. Now, what we are going to do is introduce a new concept of master journal and weekly journal, which means that in the master journal, I am going to have different categories. So if I were to have a category called manager, and I'm going to have a subcategory called Padma, and I'm going to have a category called again manager, but have subcategory called Satya. So what I will do is I will record all the items that are related to Padma in one shot. I will record all the items that Satya is there in one shot. So what am I doing is when I am calling Padma, I am taking item number 1, 2, 6, 7 together and closing it in one shot. When I am doing it with Satya, I am picking all the items that are related to Satya in one shot. Now imagine if we all were to start practicing this at an organization level. See the amount of attention residue can get saved, which means the amount of productivity can get increased by just following this. So first step is creating categories, subcategories, and putting the item. The next is plotting those in the weekly task journal. So for example, on a Sunday, I have 5 items for Padma, I have 3 items for Satya. And I know that Padma is traveling till Tuesday, is going to come back only on Wednesday. So what I do is I go back to the master and come back to the weekly task and put on Wednesday morning, say 10 o'clock, I'll talk to Padma to finish up all the items. And Thursday morning, I'll talk to Satya and finish all the items. And then I start plotting all the items here. Now, assuming that on Tuesday or Wednesday, when I call Padma and Padma says that, hey Yogesh, I'm not coming to office, I'm going to be on vacation for the entire week and I'll only see you on Monday. Now, what I do is I go back to master and I say closed. I don't put yes, I just keep it blank, or I say no here, which is it not closed. So what will happen is next Sunday when I'm sitting, I will have this item appearing again because Padma has still not, I have not closed this with Padma. Now with this system of the master journal and the weekly task journal, you will never miss out an item because the item will keep appearing in the master until you have closed in that week. So assuming that Padma again takes a week off, so again it will come appearing here. Now this is very different than the traditional to-do list concept, because in the to-do list concept, if Padma is not come that week, there is a high chance that you will almost miss out on that to-do list because either that item will go somewhere, get lost in between, or it will go so down that it will be difficult for you to bring that up. Yeah. So I'll take a pause here and I just want to ask, any questions, any reply. I know it's slightly a deeper concept. I mean, it's not difficult, but a little different than what generally, we manage. So any questions, any thoughts on this? And you can apply any category. So you can have one category called health and have subcategory called cycling, yoga. You can have one category called family and have subcategory called wife, father. So assuming if you are having a category called family and you're having, subcategory as your wife, and this year you want to possibly, it's now opening up and you want to take an international trip, and you record all the items here that if I want to go in the month of July for an international trip, what are the things I want to do here? You start putting it here and populate that in the week respective. Now, once you do that, then you are fully in control of how does the week look like. And that is how you start becoming very effective because you are fully in control. So if Padma or Satya calls me, I just open my master and I know that how I'm going to, ask what kind of questions. So anyway, Karthi is going to put the WhatsApp, link to all of you where it's a group where you can join, and feel free to ask me, questions, on this particular system. And at Crossover, the entire group at Crossover, follows this process. So you can see that, see this, in this system working so beautifully for all of us. So I'm going to walk you through the choices and permission now. And this is from this book called Procrastinate on Purpose, by Rory Vaden. And it's a very, very interesting concept. So what happens is that when you look at tasks, sometimes, it is very difficult for us to say no to people. So for example, if Satya is inviting me to a quality review every Monday, and I know that, I'm not adding much value in that meeting, but Satya knows me for like 10 years and it is very difficult for me to say no to Satya, which means I will have to give the permission of ignoring that feeling that what will Satya think if I say no? So the permission you have to give yourself is ignore that feeling, and you can eliminate that task. Now, if I eliminate that Monday meeting and I tell to Satya that, "Well, Satya, can I join for last 15 minutes and whatever is on my, I'll just clarify that." Suddenly I've got 45 minutes extra. The second is, Padma gives me, asks me for some information every week. And, I take 10 minutes to prepare the report. But assuming if I create a Google Drive folder and I essentially keep that information there, and Padma can pick it up from there, and I don't need to anymore invest time in creating that report. So now if that is the case, now creating the Google Drive will take 90 minutes or maybe 1.5 hours. So if I do that 90 minutes once, I am saving 10 minutes every week, which means I can recover that in 6 months, and then rest of my year I am getting the advantage of that. So the permission is investing the time. Third is about delegating, which means that if Pooja Adhikari is from my team and she started to write proposal, now Pooja will take some time to write a proposal. She can't be the way I write proposal. And if I want to delegate the work to Pooja, I need to give myself the permission of imperfection, because I have to live with that imperfection of Pooja. I have to not get upset with the kind of quality she is creating, because it will take some time. So in the focus funnel, if I can start eliminating, if I can start automating, if I can start delegating, you can see how much of tasks that was right here on the top so big start narrowing down. And then many times leadership, you should not take action immediately, because sometimes an action delayed can actually be advantageous to you. So for example, when I was leading this program for a client and the CFO was attending, and he said that he has this habit of clearing his desk every day. So if there is a request comes to him, he will immediately act on it. And can you imagine, here I am telling him that please don't act immediately. You have to wait, and if there is no urgency, don't act on it. So for example, and he applied this in real life. So he got a request of 5 Adobe license to be procured. And this was required in the month of June 5th, when this was May 10th. So he did not immediately buy, but he sent out a mail to all the project team saying that, is any licensing becoming free, or is there something that we can reuse? And 2 people said that by June 15th, our license is getting free because our project is getting over. And they could use those 2 licenses, only they had to buy 3. So he called me and he said that this was a fantastic experience. But he said the permission I gave myself was incomplete, which means when he was not acting on those items, every day he was feeling, this is an open item, I have not closed it. So you have to give this permission. But you can imagine the productivity he could get, the effectiveness he could get by his decision. Last is when everything is done, you've eliminated, automated, delegated, procrastinated. And the final thing you have to start working on it, which means you have to concentrate for a period of time to achieve what you want. But that time you have to give your permission to protect yourself from any distraction. So when I do a work on my proposal at my office, now it is work from home. So I have to tell my family that for next 2 hours, is there anything that you need from my side? Because I'm going to fully concentrate on the proposal or create, and my team knows, how many new acronym I create for our programs. And this is all when I concentrate, I protect myself. Yeah. So do read this book, fantastic book by Rory Vaden. It's like a story narrative. You will enjoy reading this book, and do implement this focus funnel, which is fantastic way of increasing your productivity. And the people who are productivity thinker or who are effectively thinker they always think that how can I multiply my time by spending more time on the things today that will give me more time tomorrow. So if I were to automate, if I were to delegate, I were to eliminate, you will get more time tomorrow. So this is the way you guys think. And the last part, I think, is about lifestyle and habits. I'll cover that, and then keep last 10 minutes for any Q&A that you may have, anything that you want to ask me on what we have covered so far. So very importantly, the like lifestyle of all the people who are unleashing productivity is that they have a very nice disciplined life of sleeping, taking time, because like when you attend our emotional intelligence program, we cover quite a bit of neuroscience. We cover quite a bit of how our mind has to be also given rest. And so sleeping, exercising, and having a nice diet is very important for people who are extremely effective in their lives, and you should try and practice that. Second is, I think you have to start getting into the categorization that you learned just now, and try this out immediately. I think usually the josh after our workshop is very high. So take a 200-page or any notebook from your child or any diary that you have. Create 2 diaries. One is the master diary, other is the weekly task journal, and start populating everything that you want to have. So all your intentions should go inside the master. All your weekly should ensure that you're not getting distracted in your state and you're taking actions that are aligned to your intention. Now, this is a very interesting, Gary Vaynerchuk, if you watch his videos, he talks about macro patience and micro speed. So macro patience is that, intentions are not like one time. So when I'm talking about intentions that, I want to reduce my weight, it's like a 1-year journey. But micro speed is day-to-day action. So the state and action comes under micro speed, and intentions comes under macro patience, which means that we will have to be really patient with whatever we want to achieve in life. And hence, when Suprit had answered, and I'm again and again appreciating Suprit for giving that right answer, is that the all 3 has to be high, but you have to think it in such a way that many times people just have great intentions, but no state and action. Many times people have a lot of action, but they are unrelated to the intention. So all 3 has to be constantly high to achieve that. Yeah. And I think this is a very interesting thought that, despite all your effectiveness, efficiency, all that, yeah, accretia, incretia, all that you learned so far and you try to implement, and there will be situations where there will be unplanned, changes that you will see to what you had planned for. And I must tell you that many times, when me and Pooja and Karthik are on calls, with our clients, and the client doesn't show up, they show up like 10 minutes, 15 minutes late. We never get upset with that, because every time when we are on a call, we have certain things that we have lined up for ourselves, and we never get upset with the client logging in late. So we have like a review of content or whatever, in our business, whatever is required, we do that part. So whenever people who are getting the 10th hour also get the 10th hour by not getting upset with an unplanned change. They make the best out of that when they do that. And the last part is concentrate with deep work. So if you read this book by Cal Newport called Deep Work, you will start seeing that there are many lessons that he talks about. And he says that anything that you do for a certain period of time, your mind has the capacity to generate new ideas, innovative ideas. So if you were to write a proposal and if you do it in a distracted format, you will only do what you are experienced in the past of doing it. But if you want to create something new, you will have to give yourself, and I think in technical term, there are certain chemicals, neurons that get fired when you are focusing for a period of minimum 90 minutes. So when you look at the 2 journal, and like you can organize yourself in such a way that you tell your team that let's do deep work from 9:30 to 11. Let's connect at 11 to say 12:30. No problem. Everybody can talk to each other. Again, you take lunch break from 2 to 3:30. Again, deep work, and then 3:30 to 5. Again, people can connect. Now, imagine if you can follow a very simple routine like this, you will start seeing so much of productivity can go in your own team. And like Pooja Adhikari runs her stand-up meeting every day at 2 o'clock. So people don't have to again and again call her. Everything gets addressed between 2 and 3. So she has got morning entire free for herself, and that also she has certain time, and then afternoon again after 3 o'clock. Like these are some very proven research driven suggestions that you can try practicing. Yeah. So good luck to all of you for unleashing your productivity. And again, I think this is a slide. Again, I just want to remind you, Pooja Adhikari told me that she needs lots of nominations, so you can look at this. But thank you for your time, I'll share. We have got 10 more minutes left, so I would like to keep it open for any discussion, any questions. I know I must have gone a little fast at some point, but in 90 minutes I had to cover something that we cover in the entire day. So, but still we have 10 minutes. I can clarify any doubts. You all can turn on your camera so I can see you and we can talk to each other, because it is not very inspiring to see the black screen and talk. So if there is no major problem on your background, please feel free to turn on your camera so I can see all of you guys. Yeah. Thanks, Ajit. Thanks. Yeah. So good. Any thoughts? Any reflections? What do you guys think about the webinar? And do tell us, anything that you would like us to cover in the. So every month we cover one. We do one webinar every month. So feel free to give us suggestions, and you can join the WhatsApp group. I think you will get an email from Karthik, and maybe Karthik can post it here also. And you can join the WhatsApp group. It's a 1 month of support that we give to all participants, that you can ask any questions. Karthik has some very interesting post that he does every month for the participants. Yeah. So any questions, any thoughts?
I think we have not heard anything from Mr. Padma Kumar. Generally, he has generally different views what we generally see through our lenses.
Yes,
I request Padma Kumar ji to speak up something.
क्या demand है Padma Kumar का, क्या demand है जबरदस्त?
No, I must say that the best things in life are disarmingly simple, and like we heard over the past 1.5 hours, many of these things at first sight may appear to be simple, but they are very, very deep and interconnected in such a brilliant way that personally, I mean, though I have been through this session by Yogesh once earlier, I felt that it would be worthwhile to go through it again, because every time you go through the process of committing yourself to something or the other. And obviously, for example, Acacia, I mean, it's not something that you can just listen once and forget about it. Every time you're accumulating Acacia, so this is an opportunity to do spring cleaning and make sure that we get rid of some of those habits that are killing our productivity and eating into our time. So thank you very much, Yogesh.
Yes, thank you so much.
You suggested that which is that PDF download thing. You can get some books on that. I have something, but which one you are suggesting?
pdfdrive.com.
pdfdrive.com. Okay.
Yeah, a very interesting website that you can use. So I'll turn off the recording now. So thanks for joining, and we can continue for some time to answer any questions. Yeah.